Alright, so today I finally platinumed Arkham Knight. This is the final game of the Arkham trilogy, which I have been slaving over to finish since the new year. And I also failed this game over a year ago when I shamelessly tried to platinum it without ever playing a Batman game before. And yeah, I rage quit my little white tushy off. But today I did manage to do it. And this, if nothing, proves that I have grown as a gamer, and you love to see it. But Batman Arkham's a total of 65 trophies needed, including the Platinum Trophy. It takes 2 playthroughs, rated at a 4 out of 10 difficulty, and took me 50 hours to get, which is a little bit more than the guide, so maybe I am trash. Anyways, this is also a part of a challenge I've been doing, trying to platinum over 100 games suggested by viewers of the channel. And if I can't complete all of these before hitting 850,000 subscribers, then I have to shave my head and look like a base character from a video game. So drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, starting out today in Batman Arkham Knight, seeing as I almost platinumed the game on my first try, I had a whopping 59 trophies already in my lap done with, leaving me on stages 2, 3, and 4 all sort of mixed together, if you will. And the very first thing I did was just fool around in a few AR challenges because I wanted to make sure that I could do combat in this game despite not playing it for over a year. Now thankfully all of the Arkham games are very similar in terms of the core combat and gameplay. This one sadly does have a weirder UI and D-pad controls compared to the other two. However, that's just more of an annoyance for me because I would constantly press the wrong menu button, but it's fine. And after I did a few of these AR challenges, just getting back into the swing of things, making sure I didn't need to do the tutorial for this game again, I actually went back into my 100% completed save slot of normal mode in Batman Arkham, and I did the very last thing, which is to initiate the Nightfall protocol. And for some reason I just didn't do that in my video a year ago. I think I might have actually been mentally ill back then. But the Nightfall protocol is only accessible once you've done 100% of the game, and then you interact with this bat signal on the GCPD rooftop. A cutscene then plays out that's actually very badass and also emotional. But basically Batman ripped off his mask because everyone in Gotham knows who he is now. That was at the ending of the game if you don't already know. But then he gets picked up in the bat helicopter and the trophy pops for initiating that. However, that wasn't it for the game's ending and cutscene. We then got to watch as Bruce went back to his mansion and every single news station was there. And since everyone knows he's Batman, he didn't even bother to sneak in, which was a part of his plan because then the mansion blew up like he wanted it to. Bruce Wayne must die for Batman to live on, as the legends say. And that's basically it for the game, aside from some more references and teasers at the very end. Shout out Rocksteady for the Arkham trilogy. I'm so sorry I didn't give these games a chance a year ago. I apologize. But anyways, that is not the platinum done, and I then went into the New Game Plus to complete an entire new playthrough for this trophy right here requiring it. I am also going to commentate over the story like I would usually, seeing as we just got the ending of my normal playthrough and no juicy meat in between. The New Game Plus for Batman Arkham Knight is also very hard. I would also say it's 100% the hardest New Game Plus out of the trilogy in general. So with that said, let's begin. Again. Batman Arkham Knight opens up with a cutscene like every game, and it explains that after Arkham City's events, the crime and supervillain influx of Gotham kinda died off for almost a year. Because as we all know, the Joker is dead, and that had quite a ripple effect throughout the community. But with lower and lower crime every single day, the city could almost feel the pulse of something bad coming, and coming fast, like me and But we would end up seeing such villainous acts right here in the intro and playing as a policeman and attempting to kick a man out of the booth for smoking. Once interacting with the dude, we would see that it's actually Scarecrow, the main villain of the game, and he unleashed a small amount of his fear toxin into the diner, which made everyone go batshit crazy. He then came on the screens in the city and explained that he is the culprit just to confirm with us all, also stating that he is giving Gotham 24 hours to escape before he unleashes even more of his toxins at insanely high levels in comparison. So there's then citywide panic like usual, but we finally play as Batman after the city is basically desolate, with only humans remaining being the thugs and, you know, not so nice people of Gotham. The criminals is what I'm trying to say, but I can't get it out. But we talked to Gordon and he told us that there was a policeman in need of help, and that was the first mission of the game. So we went there and beat up some people. Actually got to do a pretty dope car chase. Then it ended with us interrogating the driver, and you know, we went pretty easy on him, so that's cool. But he told us some info about Scarecrow, which is basically the entire game's plot, just trying to find him and stop him. However, we ran into Poison Ivy and a pickle next, and the dude holding her hostage was in a room that got pumped full of fear gas, the same stuff that we saw in the diner. He got affected very badly by it. However, Ivy didn't, since she is immune because of her nature powers, and this will be a big help later. Shout out foreshadowing, they can't cut you off like they did to my foreskin. But Poison Ivy is a bad guy, as we know. I'm not sure what she's really done, but it's illegal to look that good. Shout out to my worst pickup line ever. 4% success rate. Anyways, we brought her back to the GCPD like a good boy, and she was passive angry at us. We also did this little roof puzzle with the Batmobile, and it was very easy, although I remember myself struggling on it back in the good old days last year. And there's many moments where I did struggle in this game back then, but now it's easy, so, you know, my ego was growing by the minute. A bit later, we ended up coordinating some relays together and finding out that Scarecrow was using the Ace Chemicals factory to manufacture his chemicals and do other bad things. Who would have guessed that one? We also ran into the Arkham Knight, who is what this game is named after. However, I found him more to be just annoying rather than intimidating or scary, so that's a bit of a letdown in my opinion. I think they could have made him much more badass and not so know-it-all. But his story consists of just jumping in at random times to attack us, so yeah, that's generic. This part of the game then had us at Ace Chemicals for quite some time. The overall objective was to save all these scientists here that were just working on the job when the takeover by criminals happened. Most of them ended up being dead already though, you know, not much of a shocker, but it is sad. After saving, or at least trying to save the final one, he then told us that Scarecrow is using the main terminal or something to manufacture a bomb of chemicals that could wipe out the eastern seaboard if we don't get down there and stop him. And the idiot actually left the door wide open for us to come on in, which we did, and then proceeded to smash his face into a desk before throwing him off the side and chatting up good old Barbara. But Scarecrow didn't pass out, of course, and then locked Batman in the control room, which is a bit of an odd strategy seeing as this is where we want it to be. But we saw that the bomb was ready and basically just cooking. However, if we want to stop it from destroying everything, including us, we had to slowly remove these cooling pods and insert them into their respectable slots to lessen the effect and damage of the bomb. All the while breathing in toxic fumes, obviously, because Bruce Wayne is hardly a man, I suppose. But after reaching the very last one, we would get a jump scare and see Joker with a gun to our head. I thought he was dead. The plot thickens. Oh yeah, and then we woke up as Gordon, Batman's spirit animal, I guess. However, this alluded to a little side thing where Batman tracked down a few individuals who also have Joker's blood in them like he does from the previous game, and they are all kept in the bottom of the theater. Gordon saw this and then it comes back to present day, but this was trying to tell us that Batman still has the Joker in him. Quite literally, with his blood present and with the fear toxins Batman has been inhaling, it sort of spiked him up a bit, which is why Batman is now seeing the Joker and very confused, scared, and worried. But just because he's a little bit schizophrenic now, it doesn't mean we won't stop being that badass Batman we were born to be. And there was a load of combat, more specifically tank combat next. A bit of a mixed opinion on this feature of this game, but it's cool no matter what. Anyways, we were heading to the clock tower, which is where Barbara worked out of helping us, and would find out that she has been stolen. Also, we got a lore drop to how she became a cripple, and it's from the Joker shooting her. Sad story. Also, Gordon walked in and we told him the bad news, so now Gordon doesn't want to be our friend, and he didn't even invite us to his birthday party. What the f? Bro, that's too far. A few minutes later, I also had to go to Catwoman, who has been captured by the Riddler. But fun fact, I already did every single one of those damn things a year ago. Shout out old me, that's the only good thing you did that year. What a time. Oh my god! Anyways, we then went on a wild goose chase hunting down Barbara. Eventually, we found out that the car she was stolen and crashed, and we assume it was Barbara's doing, but she got out of it, so she isn't dead. Just crawling away, very sadly. I feel bad, bro. The Arkham Knight doesn't, however, and he took her again. But she dropped a little chip for us on the way out. And it was just to help us find the Arkham Knight, which it kind of does, but also doesn't at all. However, next we just fought and beat up the Penguin, the comic relief character. And yes, I am making fun of his height. It was literally like fighting a child. I then ended up in a big old blimp, which this area is probably one of the more annoying parts of the game, just because the puzzles are a bit weird. It's not really hard though. And it just ends with Scarecrow flying away again, but this time he had an invention with him called the Cloudburst, which is what he's going to use in addition to his fear toxin to really cause some harm. And speaking of causing harm, we finally found out where Barbara was, and she actually just got put in that same exact place Poison Ivy was earlier. Some fear toxin got dropped in, and it turns out her fear is actually Batman. So it really did not help that we were right there. And the poor girl got so scared that she allegedly offed herself. However, I see no blood, so maybe she is still alive some way. Batman doesn't think so. Yeah, no, she's dead. Now, this is an issue, and not only because she was our guy in the chair, but because Gordon is already losing it over not being able to find her, and Robin, Batman's sidekick, is her boyfriend. Must have been nice while it lasted, what the fuck. But the next major part of this game all took place in the theater, where Batman has all of these Joker copycats stuck inside. And Harley Quinn made an appearance by letting them all free since she is heartbroken over losing the Joker and hopes one of them will replace him for her. So we then got to team up with Robin and go to each and every one of them to take their them down and put them back in prison or kill them. Sometimes that happens as part of the process. But the first Joker copycat we went after was a girl version, so it's confirmed that Harley Quinn plays both sides. However, capturing her just consisted of us battling some harder enemies, and then the game made us play as Robin as he was getting pummeled by the girl. I was also unaware that I needed to press something, so he got more than just emotional damage from this encounter. But at the end of the day, at least he got a woman's touch, which is foreign to you and myself. The next Joker copycat was called Johnny Charisma, and he's also the only one that I actually liked out of all of them, which is why he gets a name in this video. You love to see it. But he also took the form of the actual Joker in Batman's mind, which is why he is displayed as such. And you again played as Robin, but instead of rising up women, you had to sneak around the room and disable all of the bombs in the area. So then it was safe to grab Johnny Boy and take him back to his cell. Now the final Joker copycat was actually a giant black man, so I don't know what the f is going on here. But you just had to beat him up, and once he got beat up enough, the fight was over and we won. However, it wasn't completely over because Harley was gatekeeping our literal gate to get out of here. So we fought her also. No mercy and gender equality fights in the Batman games. You'll love to see it. But that was basically it for this part of the game, at least in terms of puzzles, you could say, because we went back to the main room and would find out that Henry Adams, another Joker infected person, was here and has legit just been killing every single one of the people that we just caught. So he's a little cuckoo, if you know what I'm saying. And he was about to off us as well, but one look into Batman's eyes and he saw just the sheer amount of insanity within that man. I mean, Joker toxin aside, this dude has gathered hundreds of Riddler trophies, and that's saying something. Which is why Henry here did another bang bang to his two-tang, and he is now also deceased. Imagine winning a fight just looking into someone's eyes. A level I aspire to. Long story short, Batman and Robin argue back and forth about Batman going into a cell also because he is clearly not right in the head. And there was a cool little mechanic you had to do with throwing Robin in there instead of you, and I definitely failed at one too many times. But it's fine, let's move on. Essentially, Scarecrow finally combined the cloudburst with his toxin, and would you look at that? The cloudburst made clouds, and since they were made with a poisonous toxin, they are poison clouds. Yeah, this is the big issue now, but Batman is just better, so we went right down into it. No fear in this man's bones. And while down in the Poison City, we actually got to fight the Arkham Knight in a giant tank. And once we won the fight, Batman did the nice thing and dragged the guy out with him, only to find out that he was never there at all. This dude's schizophrenia is so much worse than mine, that's crazy. Oh yeah, we also teamed up with Poison Ivy, and she's a real one. I'm not gonna lie, I've never trusted a woman, let alone a pretty one, since fall of 2023, but hey, she came through with her deal and actually gave her life to stop the poison clouds of Gotham, making the city safe again. That's probably not true, but we can breathe normally now. And we had to go deep down into the underground for Ivy again, and this time we got confronted by the Arkham Knight once more. I thought he was dead, but I guess not. This fight against him though, I did remember from the last game because it's pretty cool and simple. All you gotta do is bait him into chasing you, then drive down one of the red paths on the minimap which have explosives in them and detonate upon him running into such explosives. So winning that fight was easy, but we didn't really beat him and instead just grappled away to safety right into a room where some enemies were interrogating / torturing Gordon. We saved him obviously, but the Arkham Knight then strolled in. And here is when we finally got to see his true identity. His name is Jason Todd and was Batman's original Robin way back in the good old days.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea when that was in this game's universe. I do not remember his storyline at all, so maybe it was an older game, but yeah, I seriously don't know where this guy's from. Anyways, we then had to do a little stealth boss fight against him. You just had to sneak up below his post 4 times, surprise attack him, and eventually you win because he still doesn't have the brass balls to take down Batman. Which then led us to take Gordon out of here to safety, or rather up this tower. Once at the top, we found Scarecrow and Barbara actually. Turns out she wasn't dead. Who would have known that? But she did get kicked off the edge, and yeah, this is sad. Thankfully, Batman saved her. I can't imagine if he didn't. Oh yes, there was also then a giant tank fight right after, and I'm gonna bawl my ass out tonight. But that's basically it for the story. This game is a very good ending, don't get me wrong, but it's a bit slow paced in the sense that there isn't much actual gameplay as Batman. You have to surrender all of your weapons, items, and just everything. Then Scarecrow kind of kidnaps us. He straps us to a table and puts a ton of fear toxin into us, all the while our mask was off. So this is how everyone found out that Bruce Wayne was Batman, by the way. But then you go on a very long trip that was kind of scary as the Joker. And this resembles Batman trying and succeeding and fighting through the demons to rid the Joker of his mind and body, quite literally. But it ultimately makes Batman immune to the fear toxin, and Jason Todd also shows up to help a little bit. Ultimately, the game ends with Scarecrow getting injected with his own fear toxin and tripping balls all the way back to GCPD, with the new game plus story trophy popping right here. So that's it for the story. Sorry if you guys found that boring, but it was a part of this game's platinum, and I felt like since I'm gonna make this video again, I might as well also re-explain the story along with it. Now, the remaining trophies I have are all the hard ones in the game, naturally, because I did all the easy ones already. I gotta get 69 stars on challenges, which in this game there is way more than 69 possible, and that's a huge help. Shout out to Rocksteady for that one. But then I also have to do this trophy called Brutality 101. Perform 15 different combo moves in one free flow. Now that shit is ass, but we aren't quite there yet. First, let's go through the challenges. In previous Arkham games, the challenges have been the big hard thing in them. And aside from the Riddler trophies, this is what really stops people from getting the platinum or even starting it to begin with. However, in Arkham Knight, you get a lot of leeway, and you can basically 2-star most of the challenges in this game, needing to only get 3 stars on a couple. And some of them are super easy to do. For one, the car races are all kind of a joke with how easy it is to get 3 stars for the most part. So yeah, here's both of those challenge trophies. I think it maybe took me another hour to an hour and a half to get 30 plus stars that I needed, so I'm basically trying to say that that shit was easy. But the final trophy, Brutality 101. My god, Lord and Savior above. This is the worst free flow combat trophy in the entire trilogy. There was a similar trophy in Arkham City, which I just did, so that thankfully helped this out a lot. But even with the method I recommend that involves screenshotting all of the moves and then crossing them out as you go, it still took me about 40 minutes of trying over and over and over to get. I can't even begin to express how annoying this trophy is, especially if you're doing the majority of the moves, then just get caught with a stray elbow and have to completely restart. It's also the one trophy that made me quit a year ago, but eventually I did do it, and I didn't even realize this move was my last move, but it turns out it was. And god damn it, there is that darn trophy with the platinum trophy pop added on. God bless America and God bless Batman, baby. So that was the Batman Arkham Knight platinum trophy experience. Again, overall, I love the game. I want to apologize once more for not platinuming it over a year ago when I failed, and also for not enjoying the game then. This game is freaking amazing, and in comparison to most story games we get nowadays and recently, it just blows them out of the water. Rating out of 10, I'll give it a solid 7.835, and yeah, that's basically it. 8 more platinums to go until Elden Ring, and I'll see you all then, baby.